to an argument.
Ah, right, okay. Right, we better watch up for you then.
Yeah, don't be at
Hello,
it.
good evening. Good evening. Well, sorry, we're just having a conversation about beer and drink and everything. Yes, I'm not going to tell you what I did last night. I only had one beer, and that was it for me. Well, not a beer; it was a cider, strong cider, and I thought, wow, I think I was like, yes. I'm not going to say nothing, no more. Anyway, okay. Hello, Beth. How are you?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for having me on again.
It's lovely to have you back, as I said a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be having me on all the way through this half-hour section, won't you? Actually.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. We won't. Of course, we will. We won't take you off, will we? Anyway, what I want to talk with you tonight about is um, I, it's going to be a delicate matter, really, because it was on my list, and I was going to keep it for Mr. Memphis, but I thought, well, no, let's talk about kind of like relationships, really. Do you mind?
No, that's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do lots of work with clients on relationships and things, and maybe it'd be interesting to get my perspective and then Mr. Memphis's perspective.
What a try.
Sorry,
Good
you went
idea. Good
there.
idea. Yeah.
Good idea. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Good idea. Yeah. What I want to know is this: when you have clients coming to you,
Hmm.
do clients kind of come up to you and say, right, I'll tell you the truth, what's happened in my relationship? I'm having an affair or having a
Hmm.
relationship, Do they come
Hmm.
up to you? Do they say it there and then, or what happens?
It depends. It depends what the problem is that they present, right? So they might present as saying, I've just split up with my partner and I'm heartbroken. Or they might present as, I feel really bored and isolated and I want to leave my partner, etc. Right? So they might present with that. And then as we build trust, they might say, well, actually, I'm so bored that I've had an affair, or we broke up because I was having an affair. So, or actually, I have had one client who basically said, I can't stay faithful.
Hmm.
So we worked on the reasons for that, and of course, um, uh, you know, it's always the same thing. It's that basically he didn't love himself. It wasn't about loving her. He didn't love himself, and because he didn't love himself, he had a huge void where the self love should have been. So he needed his partner at any one time to be incredibly affectionate, to be, bigging him up, like be a little cheerleader.
Yeah.
Excuse my throat. My daughter's just tested positive for COVID finally, so I hope I'm not getting it. But um, and and unfortunately, obviously, one's partner is just human too, and partners go through things. Partners don't always feel all sunshine and unicorns. They're not always there because it's not actually their job
Mm.
to make you happy. It's not their job
Yeah.
to make you
Yeah.
feel good. It's their job to love you. I mean, that's what a relationship is. But it's up to you. It's up to ourselves to make ourselves feel good. So what happened was over time that each time the relationship, once it became sort of routine after a couple of years, it was about 2.5 years, I think, his limit. And then he would find himself seeking the endorphins, the excitement, the romance, the appreciation, the glamour that comes with having an illicit affair, and all of those strong feelings filled that dark void
Hmm.
for him.
Yeah.
So, so what we actually worked on was stuff from his childhood that made him basically hate himself. And of course, he didn't even feel that he deserved to be in those relationships anyway, and really felt like it was only going to be a matter of time before she would leave him. So kind of ended up sabotaging it sort of deliberately. It's like waiting for the other shoe to drop is hard. So it's kind of like,
Mm.
oh, I may as well blow it all up anyway because it's just too hard.
Not
I
going to
can't
work. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't bear it when she says that I'm not good enough, because that's what I've always thought about myself. I can't bear it if my partner sees it and tells me that. So yeah, I mean, it's a really sad situation. I think people largely could be wrong, but I think largely people are unfaithful um, because of a lack of self love. I was unfaithful once, um, but it was for a different reason. I did have a complete lack of self love. I was in a domestic abuse relationship, and I did it purely. I'm afraid I was only 18. Bless me. I did it because I was just so afraid all the time of my partner, um, that I sort of got involved with someone who was sort of equally big. He was one of the rugby players at the college, because I just needed to feel physically safe, for
Mm,
a few hours a week.
yeah.
Um, and so, I'm
What
not
was it?
explaining it, but
What
I'm
was?
also judging it.
Yeah. What was it like though? Because being kind of like going out with a rugby player or whatever, and next minute you've got somebody big to protect you, but all of a sudden, it turns around on you where he's kind of like abusing you,
Who was the lover or the partner?
the partner.
Yeah, the partner was abusing me, but I didn't know at 18 how to get out of that. I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't have the toolkit. I had no support system. I don't know if I've
Yeah.
mentioned, but I actually ended up pregnant by him. And both sets of parents just turned their backs on me and just left me to it, basically. Um, and my dad even said, even though he knew that my partner was violent, he said, "You're not going to disgrace us. You better go and marry him." And I said, "But he hits me." And he said, "I don't care. You're not going to disgrace us. You have to go and marry him." So I didn't. I found a way out of all that, and that's another story. But the point is that, yeah, I mean, I was just in fear all the time that he was with me. So I was at college. I was at one college, and he was at a different college. My partner. So at the time, I was just seeing him, like, he'd come on a Thursday night and he'd leave on a Monday morning. So I was seeing him about 3 or 4 nights a week into a big chunk. And it was just constantly, I was just constantly on eggshells, as one is with an abusive partner, trying to do the right thing, trying to please him, and stuff. And I just needed, when he wasn't there, I just needed to feel safe and loved. Because it's difficult to feel loved when you're afraid of your partner. So, yeah, that's what I did.
Why couldn't you just kind of like get rid of him? But it was hard, was it?
Well, yeah, I mean, part of the reason I couldn't get rid of him was I had nobody else. Um, and I didn't love myself, as we were just talking about. And so, it had been great for the first year. It really only went wrong when we went to different universities and he became incredibly jealous. And
Yeah.
he had no reason to be jealous for the whole of that first year. But in the end, I just thought, I'm being punished for a crime I'm not committing. I may as well commit the crime. And I think there was a Howard Jones song about that. Um, you take the punishment, but you can't commit the crime. In the end, I just did go and find someone else. you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because then at least I had some freedom and safety when he wasn't there. But yeah, they tried to. He, I would hide in my friends' bedrooms and things to try and avoid him, but he would just literally kick the doors in and things. So the campus security got him one night, and a few of the lads, sort of male students that I was friendly with, and they sort of tried to kick him off, but he just basically he just flouted that. So in the end, the campus security had to go to the police, and the police had to order him to stay off the campus. Yeah. So
God.
it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. And then I got pregnant, and decided that I wasn't going to have an abortion, although I absolutely respect every woman's right to have an abortion. Um, and I had literally no one else, so I had to go back to him. Yeah,
What was it like then?
yeah, it was shit. It was terrifying, terrifying every day. And I had really bad morning sickness, which I later discovered with my later children was it's just a thing. I get really bad morning sickness, and so I was trying to hold down a job. This was sort of in the summer holes, sort of, so I'd having a break from college, and I just couldn't work. So he had taken again a holiday job as a waiter, And we were just living in this horrible house in Moss Side, which is a really rough area of Manchester, and it was full of cockroaches and damp and stuff. And eventually he stopped hitting me because he realized that I had to go for antenatal appointments, and he was scared that they would discover the bruises um, on my body during the antenatal checks. So,
Oh my
so the
God.
violence did stop, although he threw me down the stairs before that happened, and I was afraid I was going to lose the baby, um, but it did stop. So, I don't know. I just got on and gestated really, and it was a very, very grim, very difficult time, and I decided that I couldn't, in all conscience, keep the child because um, I just thought I'd be signing her up for a life of living in fear like I was.
Yeah.
So when I eventually had the child, I gave her up for adoption.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, because I just didn't have any choice really. I had no support and everything. So, but it's all worked out okay because in 2008 we met. She's called Stella, and yeah, so she's in my life now, and I'm in hers. And she actually lived with me for a while. That's part of why I moved to Manchester because she was based there. So it's ended well. It's lovely to know.
Gosh, well
But
done. Well, yeah. What a story. Today, do you love yourself today?
I do. I do. I love myself for so many reasons, and that's one of them because giving up a child at birth it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do and the most painful. The grief of giving up a baby is absolutely horrific. I mean, it's probably partly because of hormones. It's absolutely horrific. And of course, all your milk comes in, everything, and then you've got to meet the parents, you've got to sign the documents. And I was really ill afterwards for a couple of years. I had something called endometriosis. 7 years I was ill with that after the pregnancy, and I grieved and grieved and grieved. It was absolutely horrendous, but it was worth it because she had a decent life with her parents, and as I say, that there's no hard feelings, and we know each other now, and so so
Brilliant,
yeah.
really good,
Mm.
really good. And what's it like to kind of like do what you do? About doing counselling and therapy and all that with other people who need help because if you're talking about relationships and stuff, you've been in relationships, really some bad ones, and you can
Yeah.
relate, can you? You can actually relate.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not a therapist, I'm a coach.
Right.
And
Okay.
the good thing about being a coach is, or a therapist or anything, is that I don't have to have my shit together in order to help someone else get their shit together. All I have to do is help them to understand the routes that they can take out of their problem. And the thing is that there was no one like that for me. My parents were just hopeless and abusive themselves. I had literally nobody I could count on at or all my life really. And I had to figure stuff out for myself. And I took lots of wrong turns, and I stumbled around in the dark, and I drank too much and smoked, and I had depression, I had terrible anxiety. It was just absolutely miserable for decades. And so discovering NLP for me meant that I was able to, I just don't have anxiety anymore. I've just rewired my brain to the extent that the things that used to sort of trigger me don't anymore. I've come to terms
Yeah.
with my past. That's
Yeah.
why I can sit on a show like yours and talk calmly about these sorts of things, because I've let the emotion go. That's all in the past. But what I've got with me are all those lessons. And all I'm doing as a coach is helping other people, women particularly, who are stumbling around in the dark and trying to reach a hand out and go, look here, I'll try this way. This might work. And that's essentially what I do. And I love it. And I can't believe I get paid for doing it. So, but yeah, I mean, I make a real difference to people's lives. That, one client I've just worked with, she had something called a metaphobia. You ever heard of that? It's a terrible fear of being sick or someone being sick near you.
All right.
And
Okay.
she'd had it all her life. She'd had all sorts of different kinds of therapy and stuff. And she actually came to me to work with me on something to do with her career. She wanted career success coaching. But we built a relationship, and she told me about this thing, and she said, "Oh, you won't be able to do anything about it because nobody can, blah blah blah." But I did some timeline therapy with her, and we let go of all that fear. And now, like, her whole life's completely different. She has a different relationship with her kids because she's not terrified they're going to be sick every 5 minutes. She now is dying to go on holiday because she used to be terrified of going to airports in case someone was sick near her and stuff. She's now got like a huge space in her brain that was taken up with worry, fear, dread,
Yeah,
disgust, that she's now got to actually find solutions to her career issues. Like, she's solving all that stuff herself now. That's easy now that she doesn't have to spend her life living in fear of this particular thing. And, it's things like that where you're literally giving people a life back, giving them freedom and stuff. And I'm not doing it. I'm just asking questions and suggesting tools that help them do that for themselves. She got over that phobia. She's found her way out to freedom. She's changed her life, and that's brilliant. It's just.
but also you helped her.
I did help her. That's what I do. I facilitate other people's healing, and I'm really good at that. I'm really good at it. I'm good at, providing a sort of creating a non-judgmental, sort of trusting relationship with all sorts of people. I've coached young 20-year-old lads and 71-year-old women, and just I can coach anybody on anything, because all I'm really doing is providing a non-judgmental, safe space for them to get out all their stuff, look at the problem from different angles, and go, okay, how are we going to sort this? And I just hand over some tools, going, what about this? Might this work? What does that might have worked a little bit, or tweaks it a bit. Let's say you've got a broken engine, and you're able to put it out in this big warehouse and finally walk around, where it was stuck in the car before, and you couldn't really get at it. But now you can see it from all angles. There's loads of lights on it and everything. And we just try different tools. Well, that's made it a bit better, but it's not quite there. What about this? And it's like that, really. And it's an amazing adventure each time. And of course, once clients have learnt those tools, then the next time they have some sort of problem where they need to learn to think differently, they need to make a change, or changes come at them and they're having to deal with it, then they've got those tools to hand.
Yeah. Do you love your job, Ben?
I do absolutely love my job. Yeah. What I'm not very good at is making it pay. But I'm working on that. I love doing it. I love helping people. But I'm not very good at all the sales and marketing, and so I'm not earning really what I need to earn with it. But I'm determined to continue, because I honestly feel that it's what I'm meant to do. So there'll always be enough. There'll always be enough money, and that's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that than be earning twice as much in some horrible office. Like, I was doing HR management before, and it was crap.
It was.
So yeah, it was.
Are you an emotional person?
Am I emotional? Oh yeah, God, I'm emotional. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but saying, are you an emotional person, is like saying, do you go to the toilet 3 times a day or whatever? Because emotions are just waves of energy that move through you, right? And I've got really comfortable with emotions now. Like, a big thing for me, I remember going to therapy for the first time and being terrified, because I thought, I've got so much rage inside me. I am so angry at the men who've hurt me. I'm so furious that if I work with a therapist and this rage comes out, I'm not sure what I will do. Like, I was literally thinking about, killing one of these men. I was so afraid that I might go and do something like that.
Oh.
And to learn that actually, if you let the emotion out, before you know it, that wave has broken on the shore and it's flowing back out again. It's the reason it felt so huge was because it was pent up, because I've been holding it in. It's really difficult for women to show anger. It's a bit less, culturally acceptable than it is for men to show anger. And poor old men, of course, are only allowed to show anger. That's like the only emotion they're allowed to show. So they have it difficult as well. But yeah, once I realized that emotions themselves don't do you any physical harm, but holding them in does you terrible harm. And the thoughts we have the thoughts we have that create those emotions. It's thoughts that make people jump off a roof, right? It's, you know, so let's say your business goes under, right? Because of course, you know, this happens to men a lot. Business has gone under. You might think, God, that's crap. Okay, what does that mean? What can I do? Right, let's try this. Let's try that. I'm gonna, you know, talk to my family, try and get some help or whatever. You know, there's some men who are conditioned that they're not allowed to reach out for help. So they're standing on that roof going, the fact that my business has failed means that I am a failure, means that I am a loser, means that I don't deserve the love of my family, the respect of my children, you know, the relationships and the position I have in the community. I don't deserve that. I don't deserve to be alive, you know, and it's a terrible, terrible thing. But it's the thoughts about something, you know, that then create sort of terrible shame and things like that. But it's thoughts that make people kill themselves, not the actual emotions themselves. And if you can learn to sit with them, I'm afraid it's, I don't want to be too scatological, but it is like having a poo. You know, sometimes if you're running around all day or you're in a conference or something, and there's just no time to go, right? You just need to just cross your legs, get on with it, right? You know, but it just gets more and more painful as the day goes on. You need to go, and when you go, everything's fine again. It's all great. You know, it's exactly like that with emotions, because they're part of your body too. Remember that emotions aren't sort of ethereal things that sort of fly in. They're hormones, they're chemicals in your body that are squirted out because your brain is running a movie that makes the oldest part of your brain think that that's actually happening. So if you're reliving some trauma from the past, right, as you're running that movie, your brain doesn't know it's in the past because your brain is only now, right? So it thinks it's happening now, and it immediately ejects a load of adrenaline. So the adrenaline's rushing around your body, and you get angry, you get upset. And it's the same if people are worrying about stuff in the future, like I'm so worried that, you know, we won't be able to go on holiday because the COVID cases will rise, and what will I do, and who would I need to speak to? And, you know, people spend ages going, what will I do? Oh, yeah. And they're sort of imagining all that scenario, and it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened, and it may well not happen. But they're putting themselves through all that stress, playing that movie, right? Because the brain thinks it's happening now. So all this fear comes up and stress, and your jawline goes taut, and you breathe differently and all that. And so that's what emotions are. Emotions are chemicals that are squirted around your body as a result of what you're doing to yourself in here. Like, you know, for us, the brain, our mind, is supposed to be one of the last bastions of privacy and freedom and peace, in that what we think in here at the moment, it may yet change, but it's absolutely private. Nobody else gets to know what we think. We can think what we like. Whether we decide to say it's a different matter. But we can think what we like. But for some people, instead of it being a place of peace and truth and all that, it's an absolute torture chamber. They're just running, upsetting things all the time. Like if you were sitting in the lounge just watching one horrible, violent movie after another. You know, that's basically how many of us, possibly most of us, exist on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What's that noise? You got a parrot there, have you?
Let me just see if I can. Come here. Come here. Come on. Oh. 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 This is Loki.
Oh.
Are you a good girl? Are you? Look at Steve. Steve, say hello.
Hello.
Yeah, look.
Why am I waving to a cat? Hello.
So yeah, she's just reminding me that it's tea time. So
all right, okay, won't be long.
I will let her out in a minute. But yeah, so yes, I am emotional, because we should all be emotional, in that we should think about, manage our thoughts, so that we don't have to become hostage to them, so that all these emotions don't come up randomly. And sometimes emotions, it's important to just let them go through you. Yeah. Did you know that when you cry, your tears actually contain cortisol, which is the stress hormone? So what your body's doing is, you know, like when you get very hot, you sweat. and that's healthy. You need to do that, otherwise you just overheat and die, right? It's the same when you get overstressed and cry. Your body is literally trying to drain off the cortisol from your system.
Mm.
It's like an overflow in a bathtub. So crying is good. Emotions are fine. And I hope society develops so that people can just feel how they're feeling a bit more, especially poor old men.
What's wrong with poor old men?
Because
Look, I
because you
know,
guys aren't allowed to feel emotions in the way that women are, and I don't think that's fair.
I know that. What's up there? Is that wine or something you drink in there?
No, no, it's just Diet Coke. It's a Monday,
Oh,
darling.
I, you drinking Diet Coke?
I'm drinking Diet Coke, yeah. Oh, look. Oh, okay. Do we have to be in conflict because you're Pepsi and I'm Coke, or can we just be cool that we've both gone sugar free and we're rocking it?
We're rocking it. Don't worry.
Good,
Um,
good.
before you go, I've got to ask you this: that
Mm.
you sometimes I watch you on Twitter and everything. I'm not a stalker, don't worry. All right. And all your posts, you got all these positive posts, and you have them on. You go on LinkedIn, you go on Twitter, you go, Facebook. Every single thing I read about you, it's all positive. Are you a positive person?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I definitely have days when I feel like crap. Absolutely. I'm not smiley and happy all the time by any means. At the moment, I wake up pretty scared every morning because I'm learning how to live, sort of stand on my own 2 feet and live independently after 30 years of being, in a relationship. So life is pretty scary, but I'm aware of, even though like so here, day by day, it's like, oh my God, I'm aware of the bigger plan that I've been following since January 2019 when I first asked for a divorce. And I am every day, whether it's a good day or a bad day, I am moving towards that goal. And so that keeps me sane. And I'm positive about that because I know I'm creating, the future I want for myself. And yeah, there's going to be some bumps along the way. And absolutely, yeah, don't I, I I would love your feedback at some point. I know we're running out of time, but I would love your feedback, like seriously, just between us on my post, because what I really don't want to do is be one of those toxic positivity people where it's just like, oh, just feel some gratitude, just count your blessings. Like none of that shit, right? Because we do all feel crap. I feel crap, right? Because even though I am really good at managing my mind, again, emotions come up in the moment, and you can't always be putting the brakes on. And as I say, some emotions, it's important to sit with them and go, okay, so why am I feeling this? What am I believing about this situation that's making me feel this guilt, this shame, this fear, this whatever? Because sometimes emotions are little flags to teach you something about what you're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah. I
So
go. It's when I'm down. I just put jokes. I don't know if you've seen it, but I just put jokes on my
I
Facebook.
do. I love your jokes. I love your jokes.
You know,
Um, I also, I don't know if I should mention this actually, but I've no, I should mention it. I've just gone on TikTok. Yeah, I think I'm probably the oldest person on there. But yeah, I've started doing little TikTok vids.
yeah, run.
I have, yeah. I'm if you want to follow me, I'm at Beth the Change Coach. I don't even know if you're on TikTok because I've only just gone on it. I don't know who's on it, and it
No,
seems
no,
to be
no.
all pretty
You
young
shouldn't tell
people.
me that. Really, you shouldn't tell me that because I'm a stalker. You know what I mean? I
Well,
am.
fine. I would appreciate your feedback, but my TikTok posts are, fairly real. Like I'm not bothering with sort of makeup or anything like that. I tend to do them at 7:30 in the morning. Yeah, so I think those are pretty real. Because everybody's real on there. Well, lots of people are real on there, and I like that. So I'm just trying it out and seeing if it's a way that I can connect with people. So we shall
Yeah,
see.
yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Beth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Um,
It's been a pleasure.
it's lovely to speak to you. Don't forget, guys. 8 o'clock we got Susan Lee. Then after that we got the wonderful Mark Memphis. And don't forget, please watch it because he's gonna get it. Don't worry. See you later.
What?
Bye bye. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.